If it's presented in a painful manner, we won't incorporate it. And ironically, sometimes something that gives pain is tied to pleasure, and we feel compelled to do it just so we can receive that pleasure. And that's whether we're in a bad romance, in a bad job, whatever the circumstances may be. But that's basic pain pleasure dynamic. And understanding human psychology does not under any circumstances negate God. And say it again, psychology is a medicine that God has given us. The Bible is medicine that God has given us. He wants us to be in a happy life. He's not against us. He made life, just like the person who made the car knows what the best conditions to operate a car in. The person who made humans knows what the best conditions to operate a human life is. Or are, the best conditions are. And you're arguing with yourself. See, most people in the party lifestyle are trying to avoid pain. They're medicating the pain with their party lifestyle, with their drugs and alcohol and their sexting. If they had to stop, if they literally had to stop and sit in a room with no television and no cell phones and no tablets, no other people, just themselves and their thoughts, they would drive themselves crazy because their thoughts would run away with them. And before you know it, the pain would be too much to deal with. So it's better to be in a crazy lifestyle than to sit and evaluate life and to put life in order. To learn to relax so you're able to think. And when you're thinking, you're managing your emotions. And when you've managed your emotions, now you're able to think of your philosophy. It's ironic that I tell people that thoughts lead to emotions, and I tell them to deal with the emotions first. Emotions are very volatile. You need to settle your emotions. You need to answer each question. What emotion am I feeling? And why am I feeling it? If it's a you thing, you deal with it. If it's somebody else, I believe in direct conversation, but some people are immature and they don't want to listen. And then sometimes a lot of what people want to tell other people, is it something really needs to be discussed? People need to think about, is this really something I should be talking to my wife about? Or is this really something I should be talking to my husband about? To think before they start the conversation, because if it's an irrational thing, if I have a wife and she wants to discuss something I know is irrational, well, I'm going to try to correct her, which is going to interpret as not listening, which can probably lead to sadness or even the other one, rage, and she feels she needs to punch back. But is it something that really needs to be discussed? I was watching something. It was a reality show, and a lot of times in these reality shows, the drama is the producer. The producer is demanding this drama, telling the participants, "Oh, come on, make it risque, wear clothes or talk about sex." They're trying to, because you think about it, construction is boring. If the people in the remodeling show aren't personalities with the jokes and the funny stuff, you wouldn't watch it, And so, but the so-called friends were picking on each other, deliberately, trying to start a fight. Like, well, that's rather immature. And then the strangest thing about it is, the person who is picking on the other person is like, it happened years ago. It's like, it's time to let it go and move on. Why, bring the group, the 10 friends at the restaurant, into this war? Because if you're sitting at the table and some guy's accusing somebody of something, you're gonna feel compelled to, have an opinion. It's who we are. That's what we do. But and people do that. So maturity in relationships, and this is a part of who are the people in our lives. You can want to tell somebody, you know what, I no longer want the drugs. I don't want the alcohol. I don't want the sex. I want to be in a healthy romantic relationship with someone who is healthy, who loves me, who I love, who I care for, who I want to make laugh, who wants to make me laugh, where we share things, closeness, where we're into each other, and we're working at having a clean home, and being healthy people, eating the right thing, and raising our children with love and wisdom, and having an awesome life experience, not with cheap pleasures, but with things that have actual value. And there'll be money in the bank, and we'll be working where we're happy no matter what it is. We have dreams and we would like to do things, and but we're willing to be grateful for what we have. We're willing to be in the spirit of gratitude. It's the life I want. It's a very good chance that the people you're talking to are going to laugh at you, and are going to ridicule you, and are going to try to correct you and tell you that you're wrong. So you have to be aware of who are your friends. Who are these people that are in your life, who are giving you philosophy, and who you are listening to. Are they worth listening to? So mood is related to attitude. All that philosophy, all that things, all that stuff that you think you know them, but you're wrong. Nobody ever wants to be told that they're wrong. But if you're not living a healthy life, if your life is about cheap pleasures, if you enjoy trashing other people, if your pleasure comes from trashing other people, you may want to reconsider exactly what it is you're doing in life. Let me see here. Yeah, your sports at your need to see the new episode. Imagine how much life has been wasted because people need to drive home and see what the new episode of the television program is. Wasted life. Think of what else you could be. You could be cleaning your home. You could be doing. You ridicule programs, videos on YouTube. Let us hear your wisdom. Let us have access to your YouTube videos and your YouTube channel. Are you actually an agent of good, or are you an agent of bad? Do you enjoy picking on people around you? So philosophy matters. There's good philosophy, there's bad philosophy, there's good values, bad values, good principles, bad principles. You operate under a 24-hour period. A healthy way is to fill that time that you're awake with good stuff. We're not here to solve the problems of the world. We're not here to prevent World War III. It's impossible for us to prevent World War III. There are forces larger than us. All we can do is be good people. Goodness is intoxicating. If we had a society of healthier people, we'd have better leaders. I was thinking about it, they're not in charge. We're not here to listen to them. They're there to listen to us. Not our gods. They're not our masters. We're not their slaves. They're not our parents. We're not their children. But when the dynamic is the government being bought and paid for by the business interest, but the point is that if we were healthier, we had better attitude, we would have better mood. And if we had better friends, we wouldn't be led into so much chaos. Okay, so the windshield's a little dirty. These are the months of wind. When you live in the desert, all you get is dirt all over your car. Today's subject isn't psychology specific, not even Christian specific. It's political. What's on my mind is the American system, the complete American system, society. Everything starts with freedom. Everything starts with your freedom. We are not slaves, and the politicians are not our masters. I don't know why they presume to think that their ideas are the best ideas, or that they're there to create ideas that we're supposed to follow. We're just supposed to get in line and walk step in step with each other. One of the things that should be concerning a lot of us is, in America, it's going to be hard to turn socialist. It's going to be hard to fight the people who work hard and don't want to turn over their money to governments, politicians, and even their friends in business. It's sad to say, but America and all nations, dictatorships, whatever they are, socialist, communist, they're all run by the financial elite, and America's no difference. That's why Mr. Trump is so important, because Trump broke the the model of politics, where the person in a political party has to rely on the support of that political party and must do what that political party tells him to do, or at least what the leadership of the political party tells him to do. The reason that Mitt Romney is mouthing off, and the reason that that other one is mouthing off, I believe the name is Homage, is because the Republican elites, which Mitch McConnell is part of, are trying to find a way to unseat Trump. It just wasn't Hillary Clinton and Rosenstein and people in the FBI and Obama and Loretta Lynch. It was also Mitch McConnell, Paul Ryan, Mr. McCain, many Republicans trying to knock Trump down because everything he's doing helps the individual. It has the appearance of helping corporations, and it does help corporations to a certain extent. But when the individuals have jobs, they have financial power. And when the individual has financial power, they feel comfortable, they're not stressed out, they're more likely to vote, and they're more likely to vote for the individual who made it possible for them to have the income and less stress in their lives. Don't like seeing another taxi anywhere near me when I'm going to go to work. But apparently I got this guy and he has to be first. You always have to be first. So, and just because of that, you know, we're living in a country of total political chaos, where it doesn't matter what the people think. It doesn't matter who the people are or what the people want. All that matters is a moral corruption being fed by politics. That's all that matters. It's going to be interesting to the last minute. Decision is right here. The correct decision, and we're at ready. 3, 2, 1. I hate these people. Honestly, sincerely hate them. But okay, so politics. Oh, and that's where I was going to. We need to know that what the politicians are promoting is dangerous. What the politicians are promoting is very dangerous, because eventually a group of people start to expect. And that's the danger. That the politicians are brainwashing individuals to expect that the rich will give them a free ride. And when you have a population of individuals expecting the government to go and take stuff away from rich people, then you have problems because those expectations need to be fulfilled. See, that's the problem with letting prisoners vote, or ex-cons. Call them what you want to call them. That's the problem right there. That they have a political leaning. They don't want harsh sentences, punishment for their crimes. They want to be let off scot-free. I was not for prison reform. It's not for prison reform one darn bit. I'm more of a victim's right person. You got to look out for the people who are actually being productive members of society and not being so kind to the unproductive, to the criminals. How come they get a second chance? You know, how come they get a second chance? Excuse me. Where's the second chance for the average individual? Where's that second chance? You know, and when you have people who have a political leaning towards dangerous behaviors, let's take, for instance, a representative, House of Representatives, who wants to get elected, and some consultant tells them, well, the only way you're going to get elected is if you pander to criminals. But those criminals eventually are going to start expecting what the person has promised. Right now, the craziness with anti-Semitic statements in the House of Representatives being tolerated by the leadership, just by the political party. This person has come up and even said that she's uncomfortable with people talking about their religion in public. I mean, in America, you have the First Amendment that protects your speech, and it definitely protects your religious speech. And again, it's forming attitudes. Conversations on abortion, which I don't. Abortion at any level, it's hard to understand. Abortion at the level when the baby has been delivered, it's not even abortion anymore. And they're doing it because they're pandering. The Democratic Party is not the party of the family. It's not the party of Christian values. It's not the party of the working, hardworking men and women of America. It's not the party of individuals who don't use drugs. It's not the party of people who allow their children to become pregnant as teenagers. The Democratic Party cannot be the party of responsibility in people who represent responsibility, in people who represent self-reliance. The Democratic Party is becoming the party of decadence, the party of sin, of tolerating, of pandering to marijuana users, pandering to people who want to have sex without consequences, pandering to the homosexual community, which is a very small, very, very small percentage of any population. But the only way that the Democratic Party believes that they have any hope of anything is by pandering to these fringe elements, this far, far, far extreme elements. And and they know when it comes down to the complicated system in America, the governmental system, no one person, no one Obama can transform America. No one person can fight the House of Representatives, the Senate, the people of America. The people of America are going to have their say. This is a country, this is not Russia. To this day, the people of America have not become afraid of their government. And fair warning is you got to start thinking that the military is going to be sent out to get you. You got to start thinking that the government agents are going to be sent out to get you. Ted Bundy, hard to believe was so long ago, was hunted down by the government for standing up for American values. A lot of people have been. You look at these things and you realize that the government is capable of doing in America what it does in many other countries, which is to destabilize anybody who they consider to be a threat. And anybody who speaks about freedom, about individual power, and speaks against corporate power becomes a threat to their system. They will send the military out to get you, and they will send the FBI out to get you. Any government agent they'll send out to get you. You know, America is a police state. So many government, what is it? The Environmental Protection Agency, they carry handguns now. Why in the heck does the EPA need, members of the EPA, employees in that department need handguns? You watch these shows like Alex Jones. Can I think of another example? Not really. But all these documentaries of New World Order, you know, and it's true. They're preparing because freedom is a threat to them. Liberty is a threat to them. Independence is a threat to them. When you don't think like they think, when you can provide for yourself, and you don't need the corporate health care, you become a threat to them. And it's all a big system. It's what America was supposed to be. When, see, what people don't understand is that the people who came here a little bit before 1500 were fleeing religious persecution. They were not allowed to be Protestant, Pentecostal, Methodist. I know those religions didn't exist, but they were not allowed to be other than the Catholic Church. So they had to flee. They had to come across the ocean under a contract of servitude for whatever time that contract was for, and they risked their lives. And many people died on the ships that sailed from Europe to the quote-unquote new land, you know. And once they got here, they confronted hardship. But they were under the rule of the crown, of the English king. Okay, what is that called? The United Kingdom. They were under the rule of those people. And of course, the Spanish made their way here. The Russians made their way here. The French made their way here. And it all depended on what section you were. You were under the authority of that country's leadership. Spain's leadership, French leadership, Russian leadership, English leadership. And that's where the colonists found themselves. They found themselves being taxed to death by the crown. The stupid stuff like whatever you make, you have to put it on a boat, sail it out in the water, come back to port, and you're going to be charged an import fee. I mean, just taxed to death. A little bit of Mexican American history, people don't understand. That's the same thing that was happening in Texas. See, what you're never told is that the Mexicans invited the colonists to come down and set up whatever business they wanted to set up in Mexico. In fact, they made it very attractive for them to come down and buy land and raise cattle, you know, whatever business they were involved in. Then the Mexican government started doing what the English government had done before the revolution, which was to start taxing, to start robbing people, 70% tax. And like any other person who believes they're being worked over by the system, whether it's a dictatorship, a monarchy, a government, the military, whatever it is, they're going to fight back. And the only thing that the Texans were doing was fighting back against this oppressive Mexican government that wanted to tax them to the hilt. And the Alamo just was one battle. The Alamo was one battle. The Texans kept fighting. They got their hands on the Mexican military leader who literally, in order to save his skin, signed away Texas. So the United States of America didn't take Texas from Mexico. It was in a surrender by Santa Anna, where that guy, um, and it was because they had captured him and they were about to execute him. And so he wouldn't be executed. He signed over Texas. Um, there were Mexican-American wars. The moral of the story is, don't pick a fight with America. American troops went all the way into the capital of Mexico. They were about to take Mexico as their own possession. And the president said no. The American president said no. So they entered into a peace agreement, and the result of that peace agreement was California, Arizona, Nevada, and all that land. Again, don't pick a fight with America. You're going to lose. Every country, every group that has picked a fight with America has found out that they're going to lose. Terrorists didn't win anything. There was a lot of money spent in Afghanistan and Iraq, but you have close to 1 million terrorists that are no longer alive. Not only that, you hunt it. Excuse me. Every system there's always a system in power, and when you can destroy that system, then you have succeeded. When right now what ISIS was in the Middle East, not on American soil. Al Qaeda made it to American soil, and they're here. They're waiting for their opportunity. They're willing to send their people who will continue to read the Quran. Anybody who reads the Quran is a threat to the United States of America. But they're willing to do that and wait it out, like they've taken over. I mean, read a little bit of history. Spain ran out the Muslims. Spain also ran out the Jews. But, many countries have said, enough of you. Get out of here. And it isn't us. We're smart enough to understand what the Quran says, what instructions it gives its people, and that the people view it as a divinely inspired holy book given to them by their God. Not by some dude, not by some Muhammad. Muhammad is a prophet, but he's a prophet of their God. So they view the Quran as divinely inspired, which means it was given to them by their God. And anybody who reads the Quran is a threat to freedom, liberty, and independence. It's a threat to human life. It's a threat to human decency. I wouldn't want to live in these countries. I don't know how people. That's one thing that gets me. Is yes, you have a group of mean, well-armed individuals, but as a whole, they're the minority. In any system, the majority always tends to be good and decent. And what I always wonder, why is the good and decent always allowing themselves to be slapped around, to be worked over? At what point in time do you say, I'm not going to put up with this garbage? I'm going to fight back. You may die fighting back, but what's better? Having your daughters raped and murdered, your sons raped and murdered, your wife raped and murdered, or standing up and fighting? This is what I was talking about, unity yesterday. There needs to be unity among us, understanding that we can no longer trust these people. In El Paso, Texas, I cannot trust the mayor, the city representatives, the police chief, and any member of the police department, the county of El Paso Sheriff's Department. Cannot trust any of these people. They're not working as mentally healthy people. They're traumatized and they have become enraged savages. And the people are at the mercy of these individuals. But you had the revolutionaries who finally had it. And the fact that they won, according to history, it's a miracle within itself. Totally disorganized, no military with no resources, no boots, marching through frozen earth with no boots. Who the heck would march through frozen earth with no boots on? Very little food, weapons, ammunitions. It's a miracle that they won they were helped by disciplined, organized, well-managed militaries like the French, and um, and you have victory. And they sat around and thought about what it is that they want to be. And who were these they? These were not your common peasants. These were not illegal immigrants from Mexico. These were intelligent people, people who have read, who had studied, who knew dictatorships and kingships, monarchies, even theologies. The founders of the United States of America, you're going from a little bit under 1500 to a little bit under 1800, so 300 years of history, you know, took to develop a constitution and a constitutional republic. And you have to understand that we are the benefactors of that. We get everything that they fought for, everything they were willing to die for: freedom, liberty, independence. America's supposed to be where the